Welcome to the Riskwiser Zone. I'm your host, Lewis, and we're delighted to have you joining us today. As we navigate the complex world of global economics, it's essential to stay informed about the developments that shape our financial landscape. And what better way to start than with the latest news from the BRICS summit in Rio de Janeiro? The BRICS nations, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been making headlines with their unified stance on various economic issues. The recent meetings of their finance ministers have yielded a proposal for IMF reforms, aiming to redistribute voting rights and break the tradition of European management at the helm. This move is seen as a significant step towards giving developing countries a greater voice in global economic decision-making. But that's not all. The BRICS nations are also voicing serious concerns over U.S. President Donald Trump's trade tariffs, which they deem illegal and potentially harmful to the global economy. With emerging nations representing about half of the world's population and 40% of global economic output, their united stance on this issue is certainly noteworthy. Now, as we delve into the details of these developments, it's essential to maintain a balanced perspective. The IMF reforms proposed by the BRICS finance ministers aim to increase quotas for developing countries, which could lead to a more representative distribution of voting rights. However, some might argue that this shift could also lead to a decrease in the influence of traditional Western powers. On the other hand, the criticism of U.S. trade tariffs by the BRICS nations raises important questions about the impact of protectionist policies on global trade and economic growth. As we've seen in recent years, trade tensions can have far-reaching consequences, affecting not just the countries involved, but also the broader global economy. As we continue to monitor these developments, it's crucial to consider multiple viewpoints and evaluate the potential implications of these changes. The world of finance is inherently complex, and it's our goal on the Riskwiser Zone to provide you with a comprehensive understanding of the issues that matter most. We'll be right back with more from the world of stocks and finance on the Riskwiser Zone. Stay tuned for in-depth analysis, expert insights, and thought-provoking discussions that will help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of global economics. Welcome back to the Riskwiser Zone. I'm your host, Lewis, and we're glad you're joining us again for this middle segment of our show. Today, we're taking a fascinating journey to explore two intriguing stories that highlight the complexities of global trends and their impact on local economies. First, let's delve into the world of urban exploration in China. The rise of social media has fueled a unique form of tourism where adventurers seek out abandoned buildings and unfinished projects. This phenomenon has created a sense of community among explorers, with many sharing their experiences and tips online. However, it also raises concerns about safety and trespassing laws. As we examine this trend, it's essential to consider the broader implications for China's urban development and the creative ways in which people are repurposing abandoned spaces. On one hand, these urban explorers are bringing attention to neglected areas, potentially sparking renewal and innovation. On the other hand, there are legitimate concerns about the risks involved and the need for responsible exploration. Moving on to our second story, we find ourselves in the midst of a global matcha obsession that's leaving Japanese tea farms struggling to keep up with demand. The bright green drink has become a social media sensation, with matcha bars popping up in cities around the world. However, this surge in popularity has resulted in a shortage of high-quality matcha, forcing some businesses to get creative with their offerings. As we explore this story, it's crucial to balance the enthusiasm for matcha with the economic realities facing Japanese tea farms. While the increased demand presents opportunities for growth, it also highlights the challenges of sustaining traditional industries in the face of rapid global trends. In both cases, we see the intricate dance between global desires and local supply chains. As investors and consumers, it's vital to be aware of these dynamics and consider the potential consequences of our choices. By doing so, we can promote more sustainable and equitable practices that benefit both the global community and local economies. That's all for this segment of the Riskwiser Zone. We hope you've enjoyed exploring these fascinating stories with us. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on the Riskwiser Zone. Welcome back to the Riskwiser Zone. We've got a couple of interesting stories to wrap up the show today. First off, let's talk about the stock market holiday for Muharram 2025. If you're planning on trading tomorrow, don't worry, the markets will be open as usual. The Economic Times has confirmed that both BSE and NSE will function normally, so it's business as usual. Now, moving on to some IPO news. Allied Engineering Works, a smart energy meter manufacturer, has filed its preliminary papers with SEBI to raise funds through an initial public offering. The company is looking to raise Rs 400 crore via a fresh issue of shares, and the proceeds will be used to set up new manufacturing facilities and meet working capital requirements. It's worth noting that Allied Engineering Works is a technology-driven solutions provider, focused on meeting the evolving needs of utilities in implementing smart metering infrastructure across India. They have already supplied over 2.9 million smart energy meters to various utility companies and advanced metering infrastructure service providers across 6 states. Axis Capital and TLFL Capital Services have been roped in as merchant bankers to manage the IPO, so we can expect a smooth process. Now, whether or not this IPO will be a good investment opportunity remains to be seen. As always, it's essential to do your own research, consider your risk tolerance, and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. In conclusion, it's been an eventful day in the world of finance, and we'll continue to keep an eye on these developments. Remember, investing is all about being informed and making smart choices. Don't get caught up in the hype or make impulsive decisions based on emotions. That's all for today's Riskwiser Zone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, invest with caution.